Hello guys, welcome, bonjour, bienvenue. Welcome to this French Balayage Masterclass number 1. Wow, I see everybody is ready with the dolly heads. I think we can start because I see that you are here since already 10 minutes, ready in front of your screen. So welcome, I'm Nicolas Carcel, Education Manager in Hair Color for Loreal Professional. I'm so glad guys because it's the first time we're going to do a dedicated masterclass for French balayage for Asia because we are collaborating like never before on this masterclass. We are passionate about balayage and that's going to be a dedicated moment for that. So let's see a first thing. Are you ready to discover all the secrets for French balayage? That's the moment. First thing. You know that some people are in front of the camera and could interact with us, with me, with Sacha, okay? When possible, put the mic always on mute. And of course, when you have questions, you open the mic again to ask your questions. You can ask questions all through the masterclass, and you're gonna have a dedicated 25 minutes at the end to have, if you have other questions at the very end, okay? And you know that this meeting will be recorded, so just for your information. Okay, so the agenda of the day. We're going to have a first short presentation of French balayage, and I'm going to introduce you Sacha de Carteret in a few minutes. Then we're going to have a demonstration, two demonstrations, one of 45 minutes and another one of 45 minutes with a break in between. Then we're going to have a focus on the toning momentum, on the toning moment. But the day is really to focus on the application of French balayage, the know-how of French balayage, and all the details and the technical details of it. That's the culture we want to share with you and we want to offer you. So, of course, we are in Paris and we have Sacha with us today, okay? But we have another balayage authority worldwide, which is Min Kim, who is part of the Artists International portfolio. And because in New York it's pretty early now, she was kind enough to make small videos to share her vision of French balayage. And so we're going to have these videos at the end of each demonstration. It's like 4 minutes video, but it's a way to complement what Sacha will bring to you. And you will see, you're going to have an overall view on French balayage culture. So now, let's welcome Sacha. Please, let's welcome Sacha with me and say hello to the master. Welcome, Sacha.
Hello.
Okay.
Good morning, guys.
So, Sacha, how are you?
I'm good.
Good? Okay, cool. Before going into the practice, we wanted to have a little storytelling about French balayage, or balayage in general. And we wanted to know what for you is balayage in general, in your business, and what is French balayage in your business. So, how did you start with it? What do you like about it? Anything you want to share with us?
Okay. So when I started to be a colorist 25 years ago, I was really fascinated by balayage because the complexity of the harmony, of the relief, contrast of the color. I understood there is something really special and really couture for your client. So
couture because made to measure?
Yeah, make to measure.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was an interesting way to explore different things, different type of colors, from warm to cool. And I like the complexity of the process also, because it means that you have to master it and to really offer something different and new to your client, that color application in global.
Yeah, because French balayage is a very specific and different taste of balayage. That's what you mean?
Exactly. Specifically, French balayage is really seamless application, so it means there is no marks, no marbles.
Okay.
And it's a way to play with the contrast. It means like shadow roots with inlighted lengths and ends, but with a dimension really sophisticated and subtle also.
Exactly, because sophistication, subtlety is really in the French codes of aesthetics. And that's what we're going to share with you this morning. You will see that through the practice with Sacha this morning. What about business?
In terms of business, it's really interesting because when you have a specific method or technique, you can charge more, of course, because it takes more time, it takes more products, and it takes your vision, your signature, your analysis. So this is what you charge in salon.
How much more?
At minimum, 20% more, but me, honestly, I think 50% more than a color application.
Okay. So what does that mean for you in your salon when you charge your French balayage?
In terms of
euros.
price?
Yeah, how many euros, for
it's
example?
From 300 to 400 euros only for the balayage.
Okay.
And gloss.
Okay.
Balayage and gloss.
Gloss included.
Gloss included, because this is the sophistication, the French sophistication, ultimate, the ultimate one, is to be seamless and raffinate. And you can't be raffinate without the gloss, for sure.
Yeah, that's the gloss is bringing as well some Frenchness into it.
It's the French touch.
Exactly. Then there is also this link with fashion, with the timeless aspect. What can you tell us about it?
Because the trends are changing, you can include trends into your French balayage. It means like sometimes it's more edgy, sometimes it's more glamorous, sometimes it's more bold. Depends of the sombre, ombre, the contrast, the relief that you want to include, the dimension also about the colors. If sometimes it's more, we are more into cool colors, sometimes into warm colors, sometimes between. So with balayage, you can compose that.
Okay.
You know, you can follow the trends easier than with color.
Okay, cool. So we can conclude by saying that French balayage is born in France. It has been distributed worldwide, shared worldwide, and it's a big pillar of services in France. But it's also a big pillar, consequently, of Loreal professional services. So that's really something we're going to discover that is really important to master also the code of aesthetics of L'Oréal Professionnel in a way. Okay? So thank you, Sacha. See you in 2 minutes for the demonstration, and I finish a few information
See you guys.
with our friends. Thank you. So briefly, because you already saw, they say hey. So briefly, because you already saw this presentation 2 weeks ago, we want to tell you that we are on board from today until the next 3 years into a journey, okay? We're going to travel together, and we're going to potentialize and make better and better French balayage service with 2 things. One, as you know, the lightning phase, and today we're going to use multi-technique 8 because that's the product the better distributed in Asia. That's number 1. We're going to, with this product, show the right technique. Okay, we're going to focus on the technique today. Of course, in addition to what we said with Sacha now, we're going to talk about the right definition of the service. What is French balayage? And we're going to use the right product. And that's the point I want to focus on now. Ideally, in the best world, we use Blanc Studio and Dialight. We know that in Asia, Dialight is distributed, but not as powerfully as it could. And you may not have all the shades, even if you have a few shades to neutralize. So we know that. So we need to share this information and know it's not the best situation, but it's 2021. 2021 is focusing on the application, the spirit of French balayage, the DNA of French balayage. Those who don't have Dialight and are toning with Magifashion still keep on going this year. That's 2021. So today is the starting point. Next year, 2022, you're going to have 2 more products on Blanc Studio, and you're going to have a new launch on Dialight to really potentialize Dialight as it deserves. And in 2023, another step to go even further. So this way, we know, France, DMI, and all Asia, that we're going to take 3 years to really potentialize French balayage as it should. So that's what we need to share together. So what is French balayage? French balayage is a professional 2-step technique associating seamless lightning, we're going to focus on that today, and a nourishing gloss, Dialight. It's always French-like, natural looking. This is really important, natural. Whatever your balayage desire. Soft contrast, high contrast, dark base, light base. So it's for everybody, but the 2 main information that you put in your head is seamless, toning, nourishing gloss, okay? Seamless, nourishing gloss. That's really the DNA of French balayage. So let's see what is French balayage very quickly and what is not. On the left side of your screen, you can see French balayage. You don't have any clear graphic line, and most of the time it's neutralized. Totally neutralized or partially neutralized, but globally what we ask to women worldwide, in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, in USA, in America, most of the time they want neutralized results. And so the toning is most of the time neutralized, okay? That's number 1. What is not French balayage on the other side of your screen is that you see some lines, you have some visual interruptions, or it's sometimes too light, too pushy, or sometimes it looks colored. And a French balayage shouldn't look too much colored. So you can have sometimes, of course, some warmth, some cherry looks. Sometimes in India, we know you like it, and that's fine, you know, but it's something that is held back in terms of reflect. So that's the synthesis that you need to know about French balayage. So I finish with this slide. Step 1, multi-technique 8 today, and Dialight with the demonstration of Sacha. Step 1, perfectly blended, so seamless. And step 2, the nourishing gloss, with all the qualities of Dialight acidic pH. And for those who don't have Dialight, we have Magifashion that you could use 1 + 2, 20 minutes or 35 minutes, depending on the undercoat you have. Today, during the workshop with the masterclass, we're going to apply step 1. At the very end, we show you, on a little part of a dolly head, how to tone specifically the French way. But you can do after your masterclass the toning phase without us when it's going to be over after 11. Okay? Just for your information. Some countries will do it, some won't, but you know you can do that should you want to. But we're going to show you just before some details of application. So, guys, thank you very much. I'm going to leave the floor to Sacha. I stay with you. I say a big thank you if New Zealand is here, because we know that in New Zealand the time is very late. So guys, thank you very much for being here, and we hope you're going to stay up to the very end. And it's time to prepare the dolly head and start the mixing. So give us 2 minutes, and you as well, prepare your mix. Multi-technique 8, you can start mixing your powder and your oxidant, and we start in 1 minute. On est bon. Ouais.
Ok, on va mettre bien en face. Comme ça. Ça va là? C'est en face? Ok. Guys, so you prepare your dolly head. We are going to practice now. So, this is a hair painting application. So I will explain to you why I will do displacement to keep the shadow and to reinforce the inlated parts on mid-lengths and ends. We are gonna respect the natural dark base. So which is what is interesting into this application is to preserve the natural color on the roots. It's to preserve some parts to keep some contrast on zone 2 when you start to inlight it with the air painting, and after to inlight it really the reverse of the hair and the ends. The complicated things or the tricky things is to not oversaturate the product on a hair. So you might be delicate and subtle, okay? But I'll show you step by step. Don't worry, I'm with you, okay? So you have to prepare your toilet. Take only one tail comb, one brush. This brush is perfect, Loreal Professionnel, the classical one. 3 pinces, 3 clips, only 3, because you will divide the hair in 3 parts. Why? Because like this, you will have a global vision about your balayage. So it's easier for you to see the placement and to analyze and to have a good vision about your French balayage. So let's start in the middle. The natural way. So if it's here, it's here. Okay. So you respect the natural way of the hair. So if it's a fake middle, you respect it. Okay? Like this, you're sure that your French balayage will be positioned really well. Okay. Now you will do another section behind the ear. Because you need to have enough hair on a section. Okay, so it's really important to go behind the hair. You put a clip. Same thing on the other side. Behind the hair. Okay. And all the back together. Okay. We are going to start by the front. Why? Because in hair painting, you will always want to have more light focused on the front, on the reverse, and on the ends. So it means that the lightest parts of your French balayage is here. So it's the face frame, the reverse, and the ends. So that's why it's smarter to start by the front. Like this, you can ensure to have the right undertone. Okay? So when you do your sections, you have to think about the face frame all the time. It means that you have all these parts needs to be inlighted. Okay? For that, you will divide it in your mind in 3 parts. So you keep it in your mind, and you think that when you start, diagonal all the time. Diagonal, diagonal, diagonal. Why? Because horizontally, sometimes you can create marks and marbles. with diagonals, you're sure to have something more seamless. So you take the first angle here of the face frame. Not too big, not too small, because you need hair to support the product, okay? Here you can analyze that you need 2 points of light. So what I do with my products, I put it on my glove here, like this. I stay really clean with the product, and I draw a line on my brush. Okay? It's really important to be clean at this moment because you are on a face frame and you want something graphical. So to draw something graphical, you have to have a graphical line on your brush. It helps a lot. So you start by the first angle, delicate on zone 1, and you can go further on zone 2. Then the second here. So that's for the first touch of light on the face frame, okay? Then you will paint the inside of the strand of hair. And you have to be seamless, remember. Okay, so it means that the graduation of the application might be really soft on zone 1. And you develop on zone 2. Then you paint the other side of the strand of hair. For the other side, you start in the middle of the zone 2. And you connect it to the zone 1, delicately. When you've done this, you go on zone 3, and you do an extra saturation on the out of the hand. And you stay clean in your application all the time. Really important. Specifically on small pieces like this. Now you can massage it with your thumb to enter into the heart of the strand of hair. And I use to surface my finger, but I surface like really delicately also. You don't need to spray the product everywhere on the strand of hair. You just want to surface. So it means like it's like a plane, you know, when it's going. So just like that is enough. Okay, first one. You keep a wet towel close to you. It's important to clean your hand when it needs. Like this, everything stays super clean. Second section. Okay. Now you can go from the temple to behind the hair, and you remember it's a contouring, okay? So you need to have this vision that all the hair might be inlighted from the face frame and in the reverse of the hair. The reverse is really important because it's where the light, it's eye-catchy at the end when you do your hairstyle. So as you can see, this section is larger, but not so big, not so thick, okay? But large. Same thing with the products. you have to create a line on your brush to be graphical at maximum on zone 1, okay? A good tension is the key. So don't put your fingers too low, stay on a high part to ensure a good tension on the strain of hair, okay? On a section. So you start by zone 1, the face frame, delicately to have a nice graduation like this, really soft. And then you go down and you enlarge when you go down. You remember I told you about painting the reverse. So it's exactly this. So you put the strand of hair, the section, up. And when it's up, you start to paint the reverse diagonally to create this effect of an inlighted hair from the inside. This is my signature. So you will find yours for sure, but I give you mine for now. I teach you mine. Like this, I hope you will be inspired by it. Me, I like when the light is coming from the inside, okay, on the hair. It's like a trick, like a magical thing, you know? So, yeah, I think you will love this effect when you will rinse your dirty head and you will see the results. So good saturation is really, really important, as you can see. And to stay soft on zone 1 is the key to have a perfect blend aspect, perfect blended aspect. Okay? When you've done with the reverse and you have a good saturation, you will paint the other side of the hair. So you start on zone 2. Tu veux passer là? And you connect with the zone 1. And you can use the back brush technique to ensure a perfect blended effect, like this. So don't be too strong with the back brush. Back brush, the position exactly is to be almost flat, like this. And you have to swipe up, okay? You have to swipe delicately, like this. And you see, it's perfectly blended in one application, okay? Don't forget to swipe and to keep your brush flat, like this, almost flat, okay? For the saturation of the zone 3, you will use the inside of your hand and you do an extra saturation. And it's nice to cross with the brush to enter into the strain of hair, like this. When I surface the hair, remember, with the finger, I told you, it's only to remove the excedent of product. It's like, Nicolas, une caresse en anglais? It's like a caress, you know, but really soft and delicate. You don't massage with the hand, okay? It's really like a soft movement. It might be sensual. Okay. This is for the second one. Now for...
Guys, don't hesitate if you have any questions. Huh? We are here for you, really. So any detail, any technical detail, you don't hesitate, really.
Yes, please. Huh? If you have some questions. So for the third part, third section, sorry, you will close this part. Why? Because like this, you will focus on this part for the top. So for you, for organization, it's easier. And because you close it like this, like a big triangle, it will ensure to respect the sombre effect or the ombre effect of the hair, because the negative space is capital into this type of balayage. On brunette, you have to preserve the natural dark base. So like this, you're sure to illuminate only the face frame and the front, and to keep the shadow behind. So this section helps you to really preserve the natural dark bases, okay? And to not spread the product everywhere and finish with a color result. So it's really important to clean your brush all the time when you're done with a section, okay? So you just do it with a towel like this, and you keep it clean. Remember, the first line might be graphical because you are starting to paint on zone 1, so close to the scalp, and it's delicate application. When you enter the zone 2, you start to enlarge. And then you put the section up and you start to paint the inside of the hair, to enlight the hair from the inside, you know, as I explained to you. This is my trick and my signature because it's my taste of color. It's my taste of balayage. But you will find yours for sure. But it's nice to get inspired by some techniques like this and some hair artists to find your own one. So remember to be really delicate on zone 1 to ensure a perfect, seamless, and blended effect of your French balayage. And you give an extra saturation on zone 2 and 3. And then tension is the key, as you noticed. It's really important to have a good tension. To do the perfect blend, to create the perfect blend. Now we will paint the other side. So for the other side, we will start on zone 2 and connect with the zone 1. And we will use again the back brush technique from zone 2 to zone 3. We don't touch the zone 1. Remember, we preserve the natural dark base. This is your negative space behind. So it's really capital to preserve it. It's because darkness that light is so beautiful, you know? So they need to exist, to coexist, both of them. It's the same thing in balayage. You massage the zone 3, remember, with your thumb, delicately, but you have to go into the strain of hair. So don't remove the product. Give a good saturation and stay clean as maximum. It always needs an extra saturation on zone 3, 2 and 3. Because the hair drinks the product. Especially if it's dry hair, so on long hair, thick, And when you surface, you stay really delicate, and it's only to have a soft blended effect. It's like a finisher, no? Okay? So this is for the temple. Now we will start with the back, with the top, sorry. So you can adjust now the size of the dolly head, because you need to be comfortable and to have a good vision of the top. Don't forget to take a step back sometimes to see your work and to have a global vision about how you will position your French balayage. It's really important. So this is the part of the contouring. I will not paint it right now. I will focus. So this is the part. This triangle is the part of the face frame. So for now, I'm not doing it. I will do it at the end. And I will focus on the part behind. To have a good vision and a good analysis of the thing, the light might be focused here, and the shadow might be focused on the back. Okay? So because you know that, now, you separate in your mind. I'm going to take all the section to be clear for you. But in your mind, you divide it like this, like two triangles. And I'm going to create a new triangle here with the back. So large one. Tension is the key, you remember? So good tension, specifically on large section like this. You have to have the maximum tension on zone 1 to be sure to stay graphical and clean when you start to paint. Clean brush, all the time, clean brush. And you create a line to start graphical. So delicate on zone 1 to have a natural aspect. And then you start to enlarge on zone 2. And you put the section up. And you paint it diagonally. The inside. And you connect it to the zone 1. A good saturation on zone 2 and 3 is the key to enlighten really well the hair. You need product for that. So clean application, but really generous in the application. Do you have some questions, guys? I'm sure you have.
Il y en a un qui demande à ce que tu réexpliques les zones.
Les zones? Ok.
Ah non, c'est pas une question. Ah oui, can you explain the 3 zones?
Alors, zone 1 is the roots. Zone 2 is the middle part, and zone 3 is the ends.
And so the transition is made with zone 1 and 2, finally.
Exactly, yeah. So now I use the backbrush technique again. And I focus on preserve the negative space behind the section. Extra saturation on zone 3. And delicately, you surface okay. So you clean your hand all the time, each section, and your brush. Like this, you ensure a really clean application, perfectly blended, and graphical on the roof. Okay, so now we are closing with a new triangle from the face frame to the vertex. Same thing, you have to preserve the negative space behind. So you will focus on painting here the first angle of the triangle. Okay, the behind of the triangle might be dark. Okay. So tension is the key, remember. You start on zone 1, delicately. You enlarge on zone 2. And then you go upper with a section to paint the reverse diagonally from zone 2 to zone 3. And you connect the zone 1 delicately. You see the connection is really delicate on zone 1. Filme ça. Okay, delicate on zone 1. Extra saturation on zone 2 and 3. It's really important. There is questions, Nicolas?
Yeah, there is Rata Jurin who has a question. I saw you raise your hand. Do you have any question for us? We can hear you if you talk. If you open your mic, we can hear you guys.
Some questions? Guys, give me some questions. It's important to exchange today. I'm here to answer to all your questions, to give you all my tricks and tips. So back brush for the zone 2 and extra saturation on zone 3. And remember to preserve the natural dark base behind the section here.
We have a question from Length who say, will the length of the hair, est-ce que la longueur des cheveux will create influence on the ratio of the zoning? En gros,
of course.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, of course. You always adapt with the hair of the clients. That's why it's interesting with balayage, and because it's really on measure with each client, you offer something personalized. So of course you adapt with the length of the hair.
So it means that if we are on a bob, it's the zone 1 who will be a little shorter. Yeah. That's what you mean?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And Koja wants to see one more time how the section is taken for the next. Do you have any more sections to do or not?
Yes, I have three last.
Okay.
The section is in triangle, okay? So it's easy. You take the comb of your tail, okay? And you draw a diagonal section here to have a first triangle. Then a second triangle for the temple. Then you close it to create a big triangle to close the temporal zone. When you enter on the top, you do a first triangle like this to ensure the dark part here on the behind and the light part on the front. And you continue like this with a second triangle, this one, you see? And now you enter the face frame zone.
We have a question from Sung Jung. Can we do backcombing technique? Yes, we're going to do it, but on the other side after the break. So we're going to have options to make seamless differently. That's why.
Exactly. So the face frame. Okay. Now we enter this this part. So for the face frame, what I do, so it might be super precise. So you isolate really well the other side to see exactly what you will do, what you will paint. You have to think in triangle also. So here, there will be 3 triangle sections. The first one might be thin to thick. Why? I will explain to you. Because when you will start to paint on zone 1, you need to have the perfect seamless effect. So it means that on the face frame, the beginning of the painting will be really fine, really thin, and really delicate here, close to the scalp, okay? And you will enlarge the reverse of the hair to enlight it from the inside, like this. So your triangle might be thin to thick, like this. So this is critical, to have a perfect line draw on your brush when you start. and a really clean brush. Okay? So you start on zone 1, close to the scalp, really close to the scalp, and delicate, like this. Then you start to enlarge the shape on zone 2. And you are gonna enlarge really, really, really well when painting the reverse of the hair.
We have a question from Mark.
Bien sûr.
How do you keep the color so neat? So, comment conserves-tu la couleur si propre, si nette, when you drop from painting at a 90 degree? Quand tu déposes ton produit en peignant à 90 degrés.
Est-ce que tu peux reformuler?
Mark, when you ask at 90 degrees, you mean when the brush is flat or when it's like a pencil, vertical?
So no, so when you're holding the hair up like this,
Ah.
and then you put it on, it becomes very bumpy. Like I see a lot of people, it's bumpy on the hair, whereas Sasha, it's very neat when he pulls it down.
So your concern is more when he's changing the orientation of the section, how can he keep it neat from up to down? That's what you mean? T'as compris? Comment est-ce que tu arrives à garder la mèche propre alors que tu la démarres verticale et que tu la laisses tomber, donc elle va se plier. Et en gros, c'est parce que...
Je sais quoi, lui.
Ok.
The tension is the key. So you keep a maximum tension on zone 1 when you start to paint. Then you start to paint on zone 2, you keep the maximum tension on zone 2. And then you go on zone 3, you keep the maximum tension. So like this, the hair is not like wavy. It stays straight. Because you start like pinching the zone 1, painting the zone 1. Pinching the zone 2, painting the zone 2. Pinching the zone 3, painting the zone 3. Like this, it stay clean. Okay? Good? So now?
We have another question. If we have a fringe, how do we work with the face framing?
You divide in two parts the fringe. So, for example, in the middle.
Okay.
And like this, you can create exactly the same thing on the fringe.
So it's like I have my fringe like that.
Yeah.
I cut in
You
two,
divide it in two.
and I do my sections like
Exactly.
my starting point in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay. Alors, another very interesting question from Jory. Asian woman likes to have the face look smaller. Okay? And the question is, how do we do that? So, as the light is around the face, we all know that everything that is lighter is expanding, is coming to you, and everything that is darker, the face, is going backward. So the more light you will put around the face, the smaller the face will look. And that's the beauty of the face frame, and that's the beauty of the contouring. I hope I answer your question, Jory.
Exactly. So what is interesting with this type of balayage, Jory, you can paint only the reverse and not the surface at all. Like this, you can keep for your clients this effect of a small face. But me, for this client, I decided to illuminate the surface. So with back brush technique, I create a perfect blended effect, and I connect it with the reverse. But as you can see, I preserve a lot the negative space on the behind of the section, like this. Okay? Extra saturation on zone 3. And then you surface really delicately.
We have a tricky question.
Dis-moi.
From Swita. Alors, how big section to take while taking the first face framing. À quel point doit-on prendre une section grosse quand on est sur le face frame?
Okay.
And what would be different effects? Quels en seraient les effets différents de toutes les tailles? Et est-ce que est-ce que les sections du face frame dépendent de la structure du visage? Un peu dur là comme question. En gros, on va essayer de répondre simplement. Qu'est-ce qui détermine la taille de tes sections sur le face frame?
Alors, the size of the head will determine how big the section might be. The size of the hair also, and how much I want to preserve the negative space. That's a good question.
And is it also, when we have the implantation point, here from here to here, then here to here, and then here to here. The natural drawing we have all, and sometimes it's practical to take from here to here, then here to here, and then here to here. So most of the time it's 4 or 3 pieces, depending on the graphic you have around the face.
Exactly. So on this one, I will focus more into the reverse. So I will not touch the surface on top.
Someone is asking, can you explain the section you have taken?
Alors, this section, I take it to cover the enlightened previous one. Okay? So that's why I will paint the reverse and not the top to have this magic effect about light coming from nowhere, from the inside. Okay? It's hidden. Extra saturation on zone 2 and 3, remember, it's really important. And connection on zone 1 might be really subtle and delicate. And you do a small connection on zone 3 only, with the back brush. Just to illuminate the ends on zone 3. Give an extra saturation when you feel the hair is dry. It's really important to give an extra run. Okay? Don't hesitate to do that. Remember that the light might be focused on zone 2 and 3. So this is a section and parts that needs to be really saturated. You stay clean, but you saturate. Generously. Pardon, Nicolas.
No. People want to know how the section has been taken, so maybe you already answered. And how do you create the tension? How do you hold your section? We have 2 questions at the same time.
Alors, the tension, as I explained to you, I will explain again. You pinch the section on zone 1. You pinch it, really. You control the hair. It's not the hair who control you, okay? So you pinch zone 1, and you start painting on zone 1. I'll show you after. You stay clean and graphical. You draw a line on your brush. You will focus on painting the reverse also.
Est-ce que tu peux leur montrer doucement? A little more slow.
So you pinch close to the zone 1, and you paint close to the scalp, delicately, like this. Then, when you go zone 2, you pinch the zone 2, and you paint close to the zone 2. You see, when you pinch it and you keep the tension at maximum, it's easier to paint. When you want to paint the reverse, you pinch the zone 3, and you keep it like really with a lot of tension. And then you start to paint the reverse of the hair diagonally here. With the extra saturation, and you connect it to zone 1 delicately. And you see, I always pinch the strand of hair, the section. And I never pinch far away from my brush. It means that if I'm painting close to the roots, I'm pinching close to the roots. If I paint the middle of the hair, I'm pinching the middle of the hair on zone 2. If I go to zone 3, I pinch the zone 3. Okay? You stay always close from your brush. Like this, you can control the hair and the section. Ça va comme réponse, ça?
Oui.
Okay. It was an interesting question. After you have to practice to master this kind of thing, you know. So it's when practicing, it's easier to manage the tension and the saturation.
So we still have 5 minutes maximum, because after we're going to watch the Min Kim video. C'est la dernière mèche? Ok, cool. Perfect.
And now you give an extra saturation on zone 3. And you can use the back brush technique. And you connect to the zone 1. Sorry, to the zone 2. You connect the zone 2, you go on zone 3, and you finish with a back brush. Extra saturation.
Okay. We have a question from Swita. Do you always hold 90 degrees to the head while painting?
This is my signature on brunette. So yes, I do that.
Okay.
But you have to find your own signature, you know. Me, it's because it's my taste of color, my taste of balayage, to have natural dark bases really preserved, and the light on the inverse of the hair, like a river of light, you know, from the inside. This is my taste, but you can modulate and find your own one and create some new things, you know. Well, this is what is interesting with the balayage.
But about holding the section at 90 degrees, that's the question.
Holding the section at 90 degrees, it's because of my taste of color to paint the reverse of the hair.
Ah, sorry, okay.
It's because of it.
It allows you to paint on the second side.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm painting in a reverse. It's like reverse painting, you know. But this is my signature. It's because it's my taste of color and because I create this technique to achieve this effect.
And we have a very interesting question from Isabella. Sacha, you haven't left much negative space throughout the ends. Donc en gros, tu as peint toutes tes pointes. Is it because of the result you want or because you are working on mannequin head?
It's because the result I want. I want inlighted ends.
Okay, so then she said, would you leave more negative space to create dimension through the ends when working with real hair?
Not on the front, only on the back, but not on the front.
Okay.
And I will add only 2 pieces, maybe. You know.
So,
yeah.
so it means that the negative space here can go much down, when here he's more up. That's what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Is asking Sacha if the hair is frizzy.
Frizzy?
Frizzy, c'est frisé crépus, and lots of breakage avec des cheveux un peu cassants. Will you do the same? Est-ce que tu ferais la même technique?
Exactement. Ouais. Mais par contre, je lisserai un petit peu cheveux avant.
Fais en anglais, réponds-lui.
Sorry. I will do a similar technique, but I will brush a little bit the hair before the balayage to have a good vision of the hair.
Okay. So guys, everybody, lots of persons are asking for a sectioning. As we're going to have a break in a few minutes, I'm going to do that for you quickly. Are we done, Sacha? Yes?
Yeah.
Cool.
I hope you enjoy.
So bravo, thank you very much. We hope you enjoyed. We hope you get the spirit of what we mean by seamless. Okay? It's really the impossible way to stay where it starts and when it ends, and to keep, as Sacha said, the negative space. So the dark opposite zones, the counterweight. Okay? Guys, you received so many elements from Sacha. As I told you in the beginning, we have Min Kim from New York who prepared kindly a video for us. So the first video is more technical, talking about French balayage and different aspects of it. So let's watch it just after the video, 10-minute break, and we see you to do the other side of the head just after. See you.
See you.
My tip for anyone that's starting with French balayage is to practice, practice, practice. Don't get frustrated. When I first started out, I thought balayage was so horrible, and then I realized it was just my application and that I needed to practice. So I spent months practicing on dolly heads, and then once I was comfortable with dolly heads, I started doing a couple pieces here and there on people. And then once you give them a couple pieces, then they want to do a few more. This also allowed me to get comfortable with my application, my placement, even how I was talking to my guests about where to incorporate the balayage pieces. But it's a journey. You're not supposed to be perfect from the beginning. The thing that I encourage you all to do is when you start practicing, take a look at your first piece and see if it looks better or worse, hopefully worse than your last piece. So the goal is always to see improvement. And when I look at my work to this day, I'm constantly looking for ways to improve it. And when I see something that I don't like, instead of getting frustrated or upset, I try to look at it from the standpoint of what can I do to fix it or to prevent that from happening the next time. So my tip to all of you is to keep practicing and don't be discouraged. It will take time, but the more you practice, the faster and the better you will get at it. Good luck. The French aesthetic of balayage is very appealing to women in the US and all over the world. So the reason why is because it's customized, it's an approach which is really unique to each individual. So whether their desire is to be tone on tone or to be more noticeable, so we're talking about having more than 2 to 3 levels of difference. It's something that really can be used to contour, to enhance, or to completely transform. So the idea that the client is part of the process, and that's why the consultation is super important, is something that's really working for the American market. The trend with long dark hair nowadays is that the color lives further away from the regrowth. So my placement in general tends to be mostly focused around the face frame, the nape, and through the mids and the ends. So not all of your pieces need to start from the scalp. So again, this is really important to talk about with your clients and make them feel like they're part of the journey. So this way they know what to expect. I have them book their next appointment while they're still there and even come in for a gloss in between. So it's a really great opportunity to manage your business and guarantee your business and also the color result. Managing the undercoat with dark hair, especially Asian hair, is super important. I've had so many clients that come in thinking that they don't like balayage or they don't like any type of warmth in their hair because it wasn't lifted to the correct level. So one of the things that I really love about balayage is that I can actually see when the hair has lifted to the proper undercoat. So this really means that it's super important to take into consideration the color wheel and understanding what colors will neutralize, balance, or enhance the desired undercoat that you have. So this is all telling one story, but it also means that you're paying attention. So I really like, if I see that something is ready while I'm working, after I finish a section, I'll rinse. And that way I don't have to overcompensate with my formulation to achieve a result that I could have just rinsed when I saw that it was there. So it really allows you to be present and make sure that you're paying attention to what is happening in front of you.
Laisse-moi zoom zoom zen. Laisse-moi zoom zoom zen. Laisse-moi zoom zoom zen dans ta Benz Benz Benz. Quand tu pointes ton bon pas, ça me rend dingue dingue dingue. Laisse-moi zoom zoom zen dans ta Benz Benz Benz. Quand tu pointes ton bon pas, ça me rend dingue dingue dingue. Girl, t'es sexy, viens voir Co-City. Original Ragaman dans la ville de Paris. Girl, t'es jolie dans ton Versace. Viens t'amuser avec un DJ top celebrity. Et ses wine bouge carré sur le groove. J'aime les girls, surtout quand les girls move. Move up, rough comme une louve. Bouge ton corps de la tête aux pieds. Et là je t'approuve, c'est move up. Girl, want ton body. Montre-leur que t'as pas peur d'exciter tous les bandits. Wine comme une vipère, si t'as le savoir-faire. T'inquiète pas, y a pas de galère, je le dirai ni à ton père ni à ta mère. Ondule comme un ver de terre, jette-moi dans les... Faites-vous la guerre pour me faire la cour. Maintenant battez-vous. Soyez gangster, soyez voyou. Maintenant battez-vous. Toi mon tout mon louba. Tu serais mon lascar superstar. J'ai tellement besoin d'amour, de tes bras, de ta voix de velours. Sortez les dollars et les bijoux. Mettez-vous à genoux. Dans la Jaguar, dans la Gadou. Mettez-vous à genoux. Toi mon tout mon louba. Mettez-vous à genoux. Tu serais mon lascar superstar. J'ai tellement besoin d'amour, de tes bras, de ta voix de velours. J'ai tellement besoin d'amour, tu ferais de moi ta belle de jour. Sous aucun prétexte, je ne veux avoir de réflexe malheureux. Il faut que tu m'expliques un peu mieux comment te dire adieu. Mon cœur de silex vit de bon feu. Ton cœur de pyrex résiste au feu. Je suis bien perplexe, je ne peux me résoudre aux adieux.
Je sais bien qu'un ex-amour n'a pas de chance, ou si peu. Mais pour moi, une explication vaudrait mieux.
Sous aucun prétexte, je ne veux devant toi surex poser mes yeux. Derrière un Kleenex, j'en saurais mieux comment te
à l'index, nos nuits blanches, nos matins gris-bleus. Mais pour moi, une explication vaudrait mieux.
Sans aucun prétexte, je ne veux devant toi surexposer mes yeux. Derrière un Kleenex, je saurais mieux comment te dire adieu. Comment te dire adieu. Comment te dire adieu.
Au bout du téléphone, il y a votre voix. Et il y a les mots que je ne dirai pas. Tous ces mots qui font peur quand ils ne font pas rire. Qui sont dans trop de films, de chansons et de livres. Je voudrais vous les dire. Et je voudrais les vivre. Je ne le ferai pas. Je veux. Je ne peux pas. Je suis seule à crever et je sais où vous êtes. J'arrive, attendez-moi, nous allons nous connaître. Préparez votre temps, pour vous j'ai tout le mien. Je voudrais arriver. Je reste, je me déteste. Je n'arriverai pas. Je veux, je ne peux pas. Je devrais vous parler. Je devrais arriver. Ou je devrais dormir. J'ai peur que tu sois sourd. J'ai peur que tu sois lâche. J'ai peur d'être indiscrète. Je ne peux pas vous dire que je t'aime, peut-être.
Mais si tu crois un jour que tu m'aimes, ne crois pas que tes souvenirs me gênent. Et cours, cours jusqu'à perdre haleine, viens me retrouver. Si tu crois un jour que tu m'aimes, et si ce jour-là tu as de la peine à trouver où tous ces chemins te mènent, viens me retrouver. Si le dégoût de la vie vient en toi, si la paresse de la vie s'installe en toi, pense à moi, pense à moi. Mais si tu crois un jour que tu m'aimes, ne le considère pas comme un problème. Et cours, oui, cours jusqu'à perdre haleine, viens me retrouver. Si tu crois un jour que tu m'aimes.
Hello guys, the break is over. Let's take a few minutes to gather. I can see some already back and some still smoking, maybe, I don't know. How are you guys? I want to hear you. I need some feedback. Hey Mark, who's talking?
It is so good. It is so good.
Thank you, Sweeta. Okay. Sweeta, do you think I can start again? Because some people are not here.
Yes, my team is all there. We can start.
Okay, cool. So, as you saw, on the first half, Sacha, vas-y, tu peux venir,
Sure.
showed you the painting technique, the original historical painting technique to create seamless. But not everybody can or want or can start seamless directly on painting. So we encourage you to do it, of course, but Sacha will show you a different way to reach seamless perfectly blended lightning with a different technique on the other side, okay? Still ask questions if you need to, and we're going to show you how to prepare the product. On va le monter après, mais on va montrer après comment tu prépares le produit avant la vidéo, à la fin de la presse, ok? Parce que si... Ok, là tu peux reprendre.
Okay, guys. I hope you enjoyed this first technique about air painting. It's a historical one, so perfectly seamless and really handmade. So we have to adapt because sometimes bases are too dark or hair are too tricky because it's pre-colored hair or because of extra saturation of pigment. It depends. So sometimes we have to use foils. So I'm gonna show you. I just fixed my my head. I'm gonna show you how to create some hair painting hybrid with a semi-enclosed technique with foils. Like this, you will achieve light results on dark bases. And you can also create this effect of hair painting with and push the light process of the product with the foils. So it's a technique that I will do today on the other side of the dolly head, and I will combine two techniques with the foils. So I'll show you. We will start by the front again because we want the front lighter than the back. So we are gonna paint first all the face frame, then the temple again, and connect with the top, so with the vertical zone, okay? And I will show you half of the behind to understand really well the composition about which technique you have to draw on a face frame and which technique is more adapted as hair painting on the inside of the hair, plus add some extra foil, okay? So for that you need foil. You have a foil with you? All of you? Okay, good. C'est parti. So you are gonna divide it the same, but this time you are gonna close to the ear. Remember, for the hair painting, I told you to go behind the ear. Now you have to go for your section close to the hair, really close to the hair, right behind here, okay? Why? Because when you do foil, you need thinner sections. So that's why. And we are gonna foil the front. So if we have a too large section, it's gonna be tricky and difficult to foil properly. So you keep the back isolated. Tu es bien pour filmer, ça va? Oui. Okay. So you can positionate the head of the dolly head a little bit this way. Like this is gonna be easier for you to do it, okay? I'll show you the section before starting. The first one will be all the temple here. The second will be the temple but larger as a triangle here. Second foil, okay? The third one will be here, a triangle from the ear to the temple. And then to finish, behind the ear to the temple. is going to be 4 foils here. Okay? Then we will add a foil on this triangle on the front. 1, 2, triangle, and 3. So this is all the section we will take for the front. 7 foils, okay, for the front. Good for you? We start now. Hop là. Tout petit peu relevé. So you have to be the thinner is possible. Je tourne le dos à la caméra fixe là, non? Ok. The thinner you can on thin hair. If it's thick hair like this, you go medium. Okay? Doesn't make sense to do something too thin on thick hair.
Sasha, can you repeat the sectioning again? There's a few people asking for the sectioning again, please.
J'ai pas bien entendu le son. Nicolas, tu as entendu la question? Did you hear the question well?
Can you repeat the sectioning?
Je le fais, je l'ai déjà présenté. En fait. I already show you how many pieces of foils you need. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 foils. 1, 2, 3. 3 foils. So 7 foils on the front. Okay. Now we are going step by step. So you take this first section. You take this first section now, and you will weave it. Okay. So if the hair is thick, you weave medium, like this. Okay? Now you put some product on the foil just to ensure a good position of the foil close to the hair. With this finger, index, c'est l'index hein, celui-là? Index, you will positionate the foil on the index, and like this, you can ensure a good support with the index. Index is like a palette, okay? It's like a board. And now you can start to paint on zone 2. And then, voilà. And then on zone 1, close to the zone 1, at 1 centimeter from the zone 1, from the scalp. And then you will change the inclination of the brush, and you will paint vertically close to the scalp, like this. To be seamless. It's not because you are doing foil that you need to create some marks on the hair. So remember to stay seamless even if you are using the foil technique. Voilà. So you use as a reservoir the zone 1, and you create a graduation close to the scalp, like this, to have a blended effect, even if on foil. J'ai 2 feuilles là. I have 2 foils. I was like, okay, it's thick. I have 2. You take only 1. Huh? Only 1 foil is enough. Sorry. I take it back. Okay, guys, like this. The first foil is it's like crepe. Okay, when you do crepe, the first one is always
Crepe, pancakes.
Pancakes. The first one is like, yeah, you know,
Ah, the first one is not the best one,
so
yes.
this is my first one. It's not the best one, but this is my first one. This is my pancake, my first pancake. So don't worry with foils all the time. The first one is like meh, and after it's going.
Guys, I put you the sectioning on the first technique on the chat, and I send you the second one after the demonstration, okay? And for Education Manager, I send you the PowerPoint at the very end.
Okay. So now you keep it clean, and you get inspired by origami. And when you, Nico, plier en anglais?
Foil.
When you?
Foil.
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 Plier?
Foil.
Okay, when you foil it in 3 times.
Fold.
Okay?
Fold.
Fold. Fold in three times. Okay?
F-O-L-D. Fold.
Second section, remember, right behind the first one, you take a small triangle here. Okay. I do it medium, not too thin, because I'm on thicker. Okay. So this is the second triangle. It's here. If you want a maximum effect of lightening the face frame, you don't weave this one. You take it totally, and you just backcomb a little bit the roots to preserve the natural negative space close to the scalp. Okay? So remember, when you take a foil, you put some product on it. Like this, it will help you to fix the hair on the foil. You put on your index and you fix it on the foil. So you start on zone 1, vertically, and when you have the good saturation, you change the direction of the brush, and when going close to the scalp, you paint vertically close to the roots to create a perfect blended effect, and of course seamless. Foil doesn't mean marks, okay? You can have no marks with foils. Then you go down, and a good saturation is the key. So for that, you have to cross the application with your brush and to be generous and oversaturate the strand of hair into the foil, like this. It might be completely covered. So now you fold in 3 times. So first time, and you don't kick the foil. You just create a fold. Okay? Don't slap. Don't slap the foil. Okay?
Don't
Slap the foil. Why? Because sometimes when you slap the foil, the product go over the hair. Okay? And the product needs to stay wet and generously applied on the strand of hair. So it's important to just mark slowly, like this.
To keep the product static.
Yeah, exactly. To keep the product static. If you slap, sometimes the product is removed from the hair.
Okay.
Okay? Like this. And then you create a mark on the right and one on the left, just
To secure the paper.
To secure. Okay? Same thing again, but you take this one, this time, sorry, a part close to the hair. Here. So remember, if it's thicker, you do medium sections. Now you can weave, this time medium. Remember when you take the foil, you put some product on it. Like this, it's easier to fix the hair on the foil. And you use your index as a board. And you see like the pancakes, huh? The first it was meh, but after that it's going really naturally. And you get comfortable with this really, really fast. Change the inclination of the brush for the roots and paint vertically close to the scalp to not create some marks on the hair. Saturation is the key in balayage all the time, and specifically when you foil, you have to be generous first when you depose the product, and then to enter in the heart of the hair, you have to cross your application and staying generous, like that. You fold 3 times, but you don't slap the foil. You do it softly, side to side, like this. And you close the sides, once on the left, once on the right. Okay? Another section here to close this part as a triangle, always, still. You have to visualize the triangle, okay? You see it? It's here. Tick, 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 tick. Now you can weave large on the back and thin on the front. Why? It's to preserve more negative space on the back, on the inside of the hair, and to create more subtle effects on the front. So you don't weave the same way exactly all the time. You take another foil, you put some product on it, you use the index as a board, and you fix the hair on the foil. You start on zone 1, good saturation, and when you are going close to the scalp, you change the position of the brush and you paint vertically to not create marks. Stay generous when you apply on the foil, the product. It's really important to stay generous. And cross the application to be sure to enter on the heart of the strand of hair, here. And when you have some ends outside of the paper, you put them again like this, and you give them an extra saturation. Then you fold 3 times, softly, like this. Okay? Side to side, here. You don't slap. And you close it this way. Now you create marks on the sides, not on the hair, on the sides, when there is no hair. Okay, this is for the temporal section. Now we will focus on the front. So now you have to draw a shape of triangle. It might be thin to thick. Why? To create some dimension. When you do that, thin to thin, it means that you will have a really subtle start for your face frame and a really intense lightening for the zone 2 and 3. Okay? It might start really delicate and appear gradually on the rest of the zone 2 and zone 3. So you will weave the first one, large on the back and thinner on the front. This way. You take a new foil. And because it's large, you have to maintain a good tension here. You start on zone 1 to securize and fix the hair on the foil. You give a good saturation. And then you change the position of the brush and you paint vertically close to the scalp. You go really close to the scalp on the front of the section. Really close to the scalp on the beginning of the section. And then, when you enter into the hair on the back of the section, you go lower, sorry. Okay? So upper on the front, upper on the front. You don't create marks, you paint it vertically. And the more you have the more you go on the back of the hair, the more you keep a natural shadow effect on the roots, here. Like this, you create some dimension into your balayage. To foil the hair doesn't mean necessarily to be homogenic and not dimensional. you know? Give a good saturation, an extra saturation on zone 2 and 3. It's really important. And when the ends it's out of the foil, you make them go back on the foil and you extra saturate them. Okay? And please don't forget to cross the application to go on the heart of the hair. It's really important. And you cover completely the hair. This is the good saturation. You see? Now you fold in 3 times and you don't slap the foil. I will repeat it all the time because when you slap, sometimes you remove the product and it creates some marbles on the hair. So it's really important to just mark the paper softly, like this.
Can you show the last section again, please? Attends, I have maybe some chat questions.
Moi?
Yes.
Ouais? J'ouvre le papier?
Many person didn't understand the sectioning.
Alors, the sectioning is like triangle, thin to large. Here, you take it thin on the front and larger on the inside of the hair.
Okay. Can you precise that it's semi-enclosed because you are not totally enclosing the roots?
Alors,
Because now they understand it's highlights.
no, it's not highlights. As you can see, it's hair painting on the roots because you are literally painting the hair. I'm not painting into the foil on zone 1. I'm painting on hair, you know? So it's hair painting, and after it's foil. So it's semi-enclosed. It's not the same thing that highlights, because highlights is really homogenic and regular weave, you know? And this is not, this is like a dimensional weave. So it's larger on the back, thinner on the front, and the saturation is close to the scalp on the front and lower on the back to create some dimensional effect. And la nuance, the shade you have to understand is that when you are on zone 1, you are not painting on the foil, you are painting, ouais, you are painting on the hair. So it's like hair painting on the first 3 centimeters. Okay? It's not like highlights, not the same at all. Don't think that, please, because you will misunderstood this French balayage. I'll show you.
After we do something different on the head.
I'll show you again.
Okay. After we do something different on the head, we do back combing and everything.
Yeah.
Okay,
on the back, but not on the front. For the front, you need something delicate and you need something sophisticated.
Okay.
Okay, so that's why we are using this technique of weave on the front. Now you have a new triangle, so you keep it large, this triangle, on the back, and thin on the front. You see? Large on the back, thin on the front for your second triangle. Here, okay? You see the pieces are much larger than highlights. So this is not the same that highlights. You have to think hair painting, semi-enclosed. Now you weave the section. Demi-enclosed, sorry. Larger on the back. Thinner on the front. Totally different than highlights. Highlights, when you do that, you do regular and homogenic and thinner. Then you take a foil, You put some product on it to fix it. And you securize with your index, and you come to push all the section on the foil. Then you start to fix the hair on the foil by painting the zone 1 here. And now you have to see the shade, the difference with highlights, the subtlety. So it's really important. So follow me, my friend, please. Mets-toi là, de l'autre côté. Have a look, please, about this technique on the first 3 centimeters. What is different with highlights, I show you, is that vertically, positioned with a brush, you will go close to the scalp, and as you can see, I'm not painting on the foil, I'm painting on hair. So if I'm painting on hair, it's hair painting. Aha. You see? You are painting on the surface of the hair to ensure a natural blended effect and to not create some marks on the roots. With this kind of foil, you will not create marks at all on the scalp or close to the roots. It's really delicate. You see the subtlety? No marks, for sure. And now you give an extra saturation on zone 2 and 3. And you cross your application to enter into the strain of hair. We use this technique only for the face frame to ensure a result really sophisticated, elegant, raffinate. And what is interesting with this technique is that now we are using a hair painting technique, demi-enclosed, on the back. And the mixing of the 2 techniques will give something really personalized and really new, you know, really bold also. And that's what is interesting, because like this you can achieve the hair painting looks on natural dark bases. And you can also create cool effects and cool shades. So this is the last piece of foil on the front. So same thing. You take a triangle, larger on the back, thinner on the front. Okay? Change donc de vue peut-être pour voir. Là. Larger on the back, thinner on the front. So now you will weave larger on the back, thinner on the front. Like this. Nico, tu peux me repréparer les produits après, s'il te plaît? Merci. So, you start painting on zone 1. And then you change the position of the brush and you paint vertically close to the roots, the closest you can on the front. And a little bit lower on the back to create some dimension. This way. And you see you are painting the surface of the hair. You are not painting on the foil. So like this, you ensure exactly the same effect, perfectly blended and seamless than the hair painting. It's the same thing. Only you use it on the first 3 centimeters of the section.
Would you recommend to use 20 volume on the roots and 30 volume on the zone 2 and 3?
No.
No?
No.
Why?
I think it's not necessary.
Okay. It's too complicated.
No, sometimes you can have something like brassy or orange on the roots, and it's going to be difficult to tone after with.
It's not recommended for dark bases, even less than on medium bases. Would the number of sections or foil differ?
7.
Yeah, but would it be different if the hair is thicker?
Yeah.
Or if we take thicker sections?
Alors, if it's thick hair, you took medium sections. If it's thin hair, you take thin sections. You can't go large because you need to close the foil, on the hair. If it's too large, it doesn't stay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is the reason you take larger in the back and thinner on the front?
To create some dimension and to have something really delicate and subtle on the front.
Okay.
And something more contrast and more graphical on the back.
Okay.
Okay? So now we take a new piece. So the last one on the top. And you will paint it with a hair painting technique. So you use the top of your hand. Remember, you create some lines, graphical, on a brush, and you start painting on zone 1. Ouais, faut me refaire. En plus 1,5. Now, because it's my signature, and because I like this effect, I will paint the reverse of the strand of hair. With a subtle effect on zone 1. And an intense effect on zone 2 and 3. You give an extra saturation on zone 2 and 3 to ensure a perfect inlighted effect. No brassy. Then I'm connecting the top of the strand of hair with the zone 1, and I paint the zone 2 with the black brush technique. Give a good saturation on zone 2 and 3. It's capital, critical. And you finish on the strand, on the heart of the hand, like this, to have bright ends, like this. So now you are taking a foil, and because you want, for example, a cool shade, you need to position the foil. The hair on the foil. And to maintain the hair on the foil, you have to give an extra saturation on zone 3 and 2. to be sure that the hair will stay on the foil. Now when you fold only the zone 3 here. You don't mark the paper. And now you can mark the sides to be sure that it stays fixed into the foil. When you don't slap the foil at any moment. Okay? Like this, your hair painting is preserved inside.
Tu peux profiter de montrer que tu mélanges pas le truc comme un fromage blanc, comme un hystérique. Tu vas doucement et qu'après tu rajoutes du oxydant pour être très très lisse. Et que ta texture est vachement importante pour montrer à quel point c'est adhérent.
Okay. So now I'm going to show you how to mix because I need more products. So when you mix it, you go slow to ensure a good fusion about the powder and the oxidant. One way and the opposite way. Don't slap the powder when you mix because you don't want the powder to be fluffy after that. So it needs to stay smooth and to be mixed softly.
And Sasha, when you have a product like that, you know, we all know that after 1 minute, the product is going thicker, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So do you sometimes add a few milliliters of oxidant?
Yeah, some drops. Yeah.
Okay. It's important, guys, because in Multi-Technique 8, you have some mineral oils that take the time to melt. And after 1 minute, if you add a little of oxidant, the mix will be much smoother than you can have usually, with no lumps. And that makes of MT8 a more adherent cream on the hair.
Okay. So now I'll show you on the back how to mix this technique. I'll try to make something clear for you. Okay. Alors, est-ce qu'on voit bien? Là, c'est bien? You see well? Okay. So, for example, on the back, if you want to enlighten the face frame on the back, here, you can add some foils like the front, what I show you. For example, 1, 2, 3 foil, okay? If the hair is thick, you will need 2 new sections of foil, like 1 and 2. Okay? If you want to keep some contrast and to not enlighten the face frame on the shape of the nape, you will start here, up of the ear, to preserve a neck with a negative space. Okay? My taste of color is to do that. So I'm gonna divide this section in 2. But you have different options. Huh? You can foil if you want to have something really enlightened on the neck, or you can take the section from here on the top of the hair to here. You divide it in 2. and you use the hair painting method just to enlighten the angles and the reverse on surface. And as you can see, I'm not entering too much into the strain of hair. I'm painting only the surface to have a connection of light on the reverse. Then I connect only the zone 3 on the top of the section, back brush, for example, for the finishing. So when I start, I saturate the zone 3, and for the finishing, I use the saturation of the zone 3 with back brush to ensure a perfect seamless effect. If it needs, you take a foil, you position the foil under the painting, and to fix the painting on the foil, you will saturate the zone 3 and 2 on the foil. Tu me remets des gouttes d'oxydant, Nicolas, s'il te plaît?
Je te remets quoi?
Des gouttes d'oxydant, s'il te plaît? Merci.
Ça va?
Now you will fold without create some marks on the foil. Remember, you create marks on the sides to keep the hair into the foil, like this. Okay? Second section, same thing, on the opposite way. Il va falloir que tu viennes là. So you focus the painting on the angles, lateral parts of the hair. And you paint on surface only. You don't go into the strain of hair this time. You try to just illuminate the surface and to preserve the negative space inside the hair. Painting the reverse to illuminate from the inside the hair. Okay. And you see, it's only on surface. Huh? And now you connect the top of the section from the zone 3 to zone 2. And you can use back brush to ensure a good finishing, perfectly seamless. Okay. You take another foil. You position the foil under the section. And now, to maintain the section into the foil, you start painting and saturate zone 3 and 2. This? Non. D'accord.
Je vais prendre la parole quand même pour les recontextualiser. Tu me remets en
You
écran.
mark the sides.
J'ai fini.
Voilà.
Ok, parfait.
And you preserve like this your painting, and you can achieve cooled shades with hair painting.
Guys, we are running late of 6 minutes, but we're going to catch up after. We finish the application, then we have the Minkim video, and then we have your questions to be answered, and we have the application of Dialite.
Je fais une dernière section.
Okay,
C'est bon,
we do a last section on the top. Okay?
To show you again last time.
Much higher.
So.
And you know what? We can do triangle. We can do a triangle.
For example.
Like that. Sorry. Stupid.
V section all the time, like this with diagonal and V section. You ensure to not create marks
that,
and horizontal
and
effects. Okay? So it might be usual for you to take V section and to paint diagonally.
And that.
It's really important. We take a last section. I'll show you again this technique. So it could be done and achieved on large section like this. What matters exactly is to paint the angle of the triangle. You have to illuminate the face, les facettes, pardon Nicolas, les facettes du triangle. It's like
all the sides of the triangle.
All the sides of the triangle. Okay? Come like a diamond. You see? For example, this one is a strong one. Then this one. And one under. And you stay on surface. You don't enter too much into the soil affair, okay? It's for illuminate the surface of the section. Don't be too invasive because you will bleach too much and you will lose your negative space. And on brunette balayage like this, you want to preserve the negative space at maximum. You connect the top of the strand of hair beginning zone 3 to zone 2, and you finish with back comb to ensure a perfect seamless effect, like this. Give a good saturation on zone 3. And now you can position it a foil under the section. And to maintain the hair painting in the foil, you give an extra saturation on zone 3 and zone 2. Now you fold it without creating marks, so you stay soft. And again, and you create marks only on the sides to securize and to keep it enclosed. Here. Voilà mes amis.
Cool.
I think you got it all.
Thank you, Sacha.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
We are going to send you the sectioning. We are doing it as well right now of the side and of the back. Yes. So now we need to watch Min Kim video, the video number 2, that is a little more business oriented. Okay. And then Sacha will show you the toning on a quarter of dolly head, the way he's spreading the product. Okay? See you in 2-3 minutes. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
When I speak to my clients about French balayage, it's always about how it's a customized look that I create to work for their haircut, the way they style the hair, their lifestyle, and even their budget. So it's always about making it work for them, but also keeping it about how it's a beautiful, seamless application with the French word meaning to sweep. So now clients are very aware of what balayage is, and they come in asking for the service. The way I charge for French balayage in the salon is by calling it a treatment highlight. So this includes 3 processes. The first one is the pre-treatment, which is amazing with metal detox. And again, this helps to guarantee my professional results while protecting their hair, which is amazing. The second step is obviously the French balayage service. And the third one, which is the most important in my opinion, is to finish with Dia-Light. So the benefits of Dia-Light are that I get the resurfacing effects of the acidic formula. We also get the mirror-like shine. So these are all things that women want. So I charge for everything to be together. This way I know that I'm going to get the color result that I want while guaranteeing the professional difference.
So guys, while Sacha is preparing a little of product, I'm going to explain you what he's going to do. You know that we learned that in Asia, lots of consumers are only doing 2 colors a year, okay? And they don't have any problem having being regrowth. So in the context of French balayage, when clients are coming to cover their white hair here, you have to manage both white hair coverage and the balayage. And as you all have Magirel or Magifashion, and you may now go and push Dia-Light on the ends, we wanted to show you how to manage a client when I need to apply first my color and then do the balayage, or do my balayage first, rinse, so having this situation with white hair, and manage my Colox application, Magirel, Aluria, or Magifashion, and then take through. But how do you take through? And that's what Sacha wanted to show you. Je regarde où la caméra, c'est là? Là? Celle-là, okay. Okay. So Sacha will apply the roots very quickly, and he will show you how he's managing the take-through. Give us 30 seconds. In the meantime, do you have any question? Oh, I see some people still applying. That's good. Any question? Je te fais ton dialight? Ouais? OK.
Hi.
Yes, hi.
Can you please share the multi-technique mixing?
Can I say the multi-technique mixing?
Yes.
The mixing ratio?
Yes.
Okay, so Sacha likes 1 plus 1.5. He mixes slowly as he shows you. And then the product is going thicker after 1 minute. After 1 minute, he's putting a few drops of oxidant and he's mixing again. Why? Because the mineral oil that are in the powder, they need 1 minute to melt. And with the mineral oil melting, then multi-technique is becoming much more adherent on the hair. It can stick to the hair much better. And that's a really good trick. And Min Kim is doing the same thing. Min Kim is preparing 1 plus 2.5, because she likes more fluid. And then she had a little more of oxidant sometimes behind. Did I answer your question?
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Cool.
Hi, Sasha. I would like to know one thing. What would be the face framing technique if a client comes with...
T'as compris? What could be the face framing technique if the client comes with the fringe?
Ah, yeah. You have to divide your fringe in the middle. And you can paint from the underneath to the top. Okay? Like this is more clear and adaptable to all kind and different type of fringe. And you're sure to never have a problem of placement when you divide it into in the middle like this for the fringe, because the repartition is going to be really efficient. So now I'm going to show you how to blend the roots, for example with Magirel on the roots, and you have to do a color matching with a dialight. So you will have to drag the product after with a tail comb to create a perfect blended effect, and of course a color matching with dialight. Any question again about balayage or about the color application with the color matching? Ouais. Hop. So for example, this client has to cover a gray on the roots, but she wants also a French balayage. So what I'm doing, I did the French balayage first, and now I rinse, I dry, and I'm using Magirel on the roots to cover the gray and to recreate a natural shadow roots effect, like this. Then, when the application is done, I'm going to drag the product a little bit with a tail comb to ensure a perfect blended effect, this way. You have to swing with the tail comb, okay? Just on surface, to not remove the color on the roots, you have just to swing on the surface like this to drag the product a little bit, and you keep like this the good saturation on the roots. Okay? It's really important to have this subtlety when you apply. Then for the color matching, you will use Dialight to create a perfect gloss, nourishing gloss. On the length and the end. Be generous with Dialight when you apply as a gloss, because it's a nourishing gloss, so it needs to be really saturated on the hair and to ensure that the balayage will be perfectly toned with Dialight. You stay clean, but you give an extra saturation.
So finally, you connect in two ways. One, dragging the product with the comb,
Yeah,
and then blending here with the pinching gesture.
exactly.
Okay.
The pinching gesture is just to connect both technology, but to preserve the different parts with Dialight and Majorel. Like that. I'll show you again on the other section. So you drag Majorel a little bit like this, without removing on the scalp. So you have to be soft and make your tail comb swing like this. Then you apply Dialight right under. And you have to be generous with Dialight because it's a nourishing gloss. So if you want all the cosmetic aspects on the hair, you have to go back a second time, staying clean at maximum, and massage. And you pinch between Majorel and Dialight just to ensure a perfect blended service. This way. Okay? Good for you, Nicolas?
Ouais.
Voilà.
So now we're going to comment the heads. So I will let you show the result.
Yeah, we prepare some dolly heads with results to show you the final.
Cool. So thank you very much. Give us 30 seconds to show you the result of the two techniques on two different dolly heads. Okay? And then we have a little moment for your questions. Did you understand that here, blending at this moment not only allow you to manage the gray coverage here and make the junction of the two shades, but also the starting area here that are subtle already, you can make them even more subtle by dragging the darkest shade. Could be Dialight, could be Majorel, could be Magifashion, could be Loreal. You know what I mean? The colloques on the roots will help you, and you can decide to opacify a little further your roots, if it's interesting. So that's an option, additional option that you have, okay? Plus the gloss of dialite, of course. On est bon? Je te fais venir le trépied? Ouais? Ok, je l'enlève. Tiens, je te donne la tête, ouais, je te l'amène. C'est celle-là d'abord? Ouais, ça c'est la painting, hein? Ouais. Tu veux un démêloir?
Non, ça va aller. Je prends le brosse.
Tu veux prendre ça pour démêler et montrer, peut-être?
Ouais, attends, on voit trop les plateaux derrière. Hop. So this is the result on a hair painting dolly head. Voilà, on voit mieux. So as you can see, you have the natural blended, perfectly blended aspect. The negative space on the roots is preserved. And when the hair is styled on the front, this way, you have the reverse of the hair really illuminated.
Insiste sur le caractère unique, la beauté des racines, tout ça.
I'll show you the back also. So what is beautiful is to preserve the natural dark bases to have a perfect seamless effect. And as you can see, with dialite, you have a nourishing gloss with a shade really elegant, brownish effect, but really sophisticated, marron couture, you see?
So that's partially neutralized, but we still feel the warmth, but it's mastered, you know, it's pushed down a little. Can you say the shades? I don't remember.
For the shades that I used, it was 7.8 with a 701.
Okay.
Yeah.
Half, three-quarter.
Half, yeah, at 9 volume.
Okay.
Like this, it creates a natural and elegant brownish. It's brown and a bit ash, you know, without any orange. So with an undertone yellow. So I hope you enjoy.
Undertone yellow or yellow orange?
Yellow, little bit orange. But it was more yellow than orange. Because if it's too orange, after that, when the gloss will be removed, you will have too warm effect. So sometimes it's important to push a little bit, like half undertone, to be sure to have a brown that we lived into something more mocha and less than noisette.
Okay.
Second head. Okay.
Limite, tu peux te mettre du savon sur les mains si tu veux la laisser un petit peu.
Ouais. Tu peux me passer une serviette? Okay, for the second head is the second technique that I used with the semi-enclosed, sorry. So as you can see on the contouring, you have this effect really soft on the start because it's inspired about hair painting. So he didn't create some marks on the roots, and it's really blended. Even if it was weave, you remember? Ouais, assez bien. Same thing for the back, because I put some on the neck also. perfectly blended like this. You see? And remember, inside the hair, I did a hair painting, but demi-enclosed, to achieve something more cool and to not have too much red or too much copper into the undertone. Attends. Là, on va bien?
Là, c'était quoi le undertone?
The undertone was yellow. Yellow light. Yellow light for the front with the weave parts, and yellow for the hair painting. And as you can see, there is no orange, no brassiness.
And the Dialite recipe?
The Dialite recipe for that, I made 723, and I put some 711 on it.
How much?
Un tiers, pardon. 1 on 3
Okay.
of 711 and 2 on 3 of 723. And for the roots, I use 711 only. So like this, with these two different techniques, you can achieve a contouring really sophisticated, really graphical. You don't have marks on the roots. And you can combine it with a hair painting with that warm effect on zone 2 and 3. Voilà. J'espère que... I hope you enjoy. Guys,
Okay.
I made this for you, especially. It takes time to work on another head. So, yes.
So to be Sweeta, you had a question about contrast. It's true that French balayage is not supposed to be as contrasted, going up to 4 levels, 5 levels. But here the dolly head is only level 4. I think you should imagine a result on level 1, 2, 3. Of course, having much less yellow, like here, okay? And so putting 3 levels of difference. So like from 1 to 5 or 6, because here you need, if not, you don't see anything. From 2 to 6, from 3 to 6 or 7. And here we are 4, so we go up to 7, but 4 and 7, it's 3 levels. When you neutralize, you lose contrast. So the battle in Asia, we all know, it's like up to level 7, when I still have orange, you need ash to really, really neutralize. And when you don't have orange anymore, level 8, then it's easier to neutralize. But you are obliged to go too much in contrast. And to keep the French balayage spirit, as Sasha said in the beginning, the contrast is supposed to be soft. So we prefer lighting a little less. Like Min Kim said in the video, many Asian women, they don't want warm, they don't want orange. But sometimes, to be softer, to be a little less contrasted, and to have the light holding better, having more lastingness, sometimes it's better to lift one less level, as Sweeta said, to be a little less contrasted. Here, the dolly head is not reacting as a natural hair, so it was a little difficult. But the contrast is reasonable, you know. You can feel it.
Yeah, you can feel it, and especially on the back.
Exactly.
It's really preserved with a...
You see how it blends perfectly? It's cool. Okay, guys, we still have a moment for answering your questions. Do you have any questions? Open your mics. We are here for you. Sasha can answer questions if you have any more. We send you the sectioning. Any questions you may have that could please you.
It will be a pleasure to answer to all of your questions. So don't hesitate if you have some.
I think one question in the last
How do we finish the balayage with the back top sections sur le vertex? Comment
Alors,
tu finis ton balayage?
For example, this one, when I want to finish, and merci. When I want to finish with some pieces of light like this, I will do a V shape. Attends. Non, ça va, t'inquiète pas. And if I want some touch of light, I will paint zone 2 and 3 here, and I will use the back comb technique here, the back brush technique, sorry, just to have some pieces of light. If I want to preserve at maximum the negative space and to finish with something more sombre, I will take my session in V also, but I will paint the reverse, from the sides and the reverse of the section, and finish on the top only with the zone 3. Back brush.
So you paint by underneath.
Yeah, exactly. Lateral sides, and underneath. If I want sombre, if I want ombre,
You don't insist on the top of on the top side of the triangle.
depends of my client taste. But for example, this is ombre, and this is sombre.
Got it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Other questions, guys, before we leave? Because we will miss you, so that's the moment to ask us questions.
No?
Yes?
Sasha, how much time do you spend doing balayage in the salon? So one client, is it 30 minutes?
50 minutes. 45, 50 minutes application.
My next question is and leave the product on.
You. Repeat again.
So when you start.
If you do an application in 45 minutes, you're good.
Because the section in the back are not posing. So you don't want them to pose. Okay.
Yeah, there was some people on my team that were worried that the
Because the lightest parts on this kind of balayage, and for example on this one, I'll show you again. We want the lightest parts on the front and here behind the ears. So that's why it's really important when you do the sectioning to take the sides behind the ears, to take these parts.
To encompass every front section on the front.
Okay? Like this. Voilà. Like this, you ensure to keep the shadow effect on the neck here and the negative space here, and to enforce the face frame with the lightness of the contouring and the highlighted effect on zone 2 and 3.
So maybe it's when you don't push the contrast too much, because you can't go over 50 minutes of development time, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
Depends on the accident after. You can work at a
Yes.
20, 30, 40. You adapt to your clients. So.
Guys, any other question? What would you do?
It's the same technique that I show you on a second time. So it's a larger triangle.
Vas-y.
Je vous remontre.
Ouais.
I'll show you again. So on a second application, remember?
Sorry, we can't hear you. You are mute.
So donne-moi des clips juste. I take some clip. I'll show you again. For example, for the back on a second technique,
On a plus que 4 minutes, hein, c'est ça? Hein?
I show you a sectioning with large triangle. It's all about the sectioning. When you want to go fast, it's all about the sectioning. And the effect will be more focused on zone 2 and 3 if you are going fast. Because what it takes time is to create some graphical effect and blended effect on zone 1. On zone 2 and 3, when you do the saturation, for example, with back brush like this, it's more fluid. It takes less time to do it. And you can do it on larger section. I'll show you how many sections you can do it for the back.
Et on va finir là-dessus.
Example. You divide the neck like this. On the top of the hair. You see me? Attends, là aussi. From here to here, okay? So, one section. You divide it in two. And you paint the sides on zone 2 and the reverse on zone 3. Same thing here. Then you do another V here. So you see, you're almost done. Huh? You take this part, divide it in two. You paint the sides, and you back brush all the zone 3 and 2. Like this. Same thing on the other side. You paint the side, and then back brush zone 2 and 3. Then the last piece of the back, you take it, and you decide to do a sombre, so you paint only the sides and the reverse, or you decide to do a ombre, and you paint original V and multi-point. Here, back brush. Same thing for the front. I'll show you the front really, really quick. Like this, in 20 minutes, you can do an application.
So in the back, it's only 5 sections. If you have 2 minutes per section, which is comfortable, in 10 minutes, you do the back.
First triangle. You see me? Yeah. First triangle, here. Temple. Beam. You take it, all of it. Tension is the key. So you pinch close to the roots. You paint the sides. Then zone 2 and 3. Second section. Diagonal here to preserve the negative space on the vertex. This part. So you take all this triangle. Same thing. When you do large section, you need to have a good tension. You paint the front on the sides. Then back brush, zone 2 and 3. Then third section, you close with another triangle here, this part, and you do a connection with the future face frame. So this one needs to be half paint. So you focused on the front, diagonal, and you do just a connection here of lights. So 2 points of lights and all the mid-length and end. And then last piece, the face frame, you take it, you paint, for example, 3 points of light, or 2, if you want to preserve more negative space. You paint on the front of the section. You go here, and you can paint the reverse if you want to illuminate really well the hair, or if you want something more discreet, you paint only back brush on zone 2 and 3. And this is a balayage in 20 minutes. with this sectioning. Sectioning is the key.
Yeah, so to make it...
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Sweeta, for the question. Guys, it's about time to leave, but you know that you can still ask questions on the chat after the meeting is over, number one. Number two, I stay in contact with Sasha, Min Kim, with Sweeta, Benaifer, Akiko, all education managers from Asia Zone. So we stay at your disposal. We hope you like this morning. Thank you, New Zealand. If you are still here with us, we know it's very late. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mark Thompson, thank you. Every single person who was involved in this meeting and participate, thank you very much. Thank you, Sasha.
Thank you.
Thank you, Min Kim.
For having me. Thank you, Min Kim.
And see you very soon.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. It was a pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
Shine bright like a diamond.